Hello, this is going to be the review for the final exam for Algebra 1. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure we turn on our calculators and clear our memory by pressing second memory 712. This way we have made sure the calculator shows RAM cleared. Now we're going to go to the table setup window by pressing second window, and we want to highlight the word ask. So we're going to press down arrow twice and once to the right and press enter, so the word ask is highlighted. Now we're ready to get out of that screen by pressing second quit. So now I made sure my calculator is ready to start our problem. So we're going to come here to the final exam review and we're going to try each one of these problems. Okay, so here we go. Problem number one. Problem number one says write the equation 2x minus y equals 8 in slope-intercept form. The key word here is slope-intercept form. That reminds us that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And so in other words, I want this problem to have the y alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the 2x to the other side. So this would be negative y equals 8 minus 2x. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1. Y equals 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8. And negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2x. The y is alone, so my answer is y equals negative 8 plus 2x. Okay. Also remember that you can write this answer as y equals 2x minus 8. So if it's a multiple choice question on the test, you could show it like this or like this. Alright, next question. Next question says simplify the following algebraic expression. So first thing I see is parentheses, so I'm going to put an invisible 1 right there, and there's a 1 right there, and we're going to get rid of the parentheses by multiplying. So 1 times x squared is x squared, 1 times negative 3x is negative 3x, 1 times negative 5 is negative 5, and then negative 1 times 2x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3x, and negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. Now I'm going to combine like terms. Okay, I can combine x squared with negative 2x because they both have x squared. So 1x squared minus 2x squared is negative 1x squared. Then I have negative 3x. I can combine with negative 3x, so this would be negative 6x. And I have negative 5 and negative 9. If I combine those, I'm going to get negative 14. Once I've done that, I notice there's nothing else I can combine, so that means this is my final answer. This is the simplest form for this problem. Alright, next problem is question number 3. Compared to the graph of the quadratic y equals negative 1/2 x squared, write an equation that represents a quadratic that would open in an opposite direction. If you remember, we have y equals negative 1/2 x squared. This is a quadratic, so a quadratic is going to either look like a smiley face or a frown. And what we're going to do is we can use the calculator here. So let's press the Y button. Let's enter that equation, negative 1 divided by 2 x squared, and we can press graph, and that gives an idea that we're looking at a frown. Okay, and the problem says write an equation that represents a quadratic that would open in the opposite direction. So that means if it's opening down, the opposite direction would be if it's opening up. Now if you remember, if I change the sign in front over here, that's going to make the graph to reflect. So turn upside down, or if it's upside down, it's going to turn up. So basically, if I change this to y equals 1 over 2 x squared, that should do the trick. Now, because we have a calculator, we can check if that is correct. So let's go ahead and change that to a positive 1/2 x squared. And if I press graph, I should see the reflection. If you notice, I'm opening to the opposite direction, so therefore this confirms that this is correct. Okay, question number 4 talks about what expression is equivalent to 8x cubed times 2x to the 5th times x to the 6th. If you notice, this is multiplication, so I'll multiply the big numbers. 8 times 2 is 16. And then, because they all have the same base x, I can add the exponents. So that means 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 6 is 14. So please remember, if you multiply terms that have the same base, like here, what do you do with the exponents? You can add them. Alright, let's go ahead and go do problem number 5. Problem number 5 says the dimensions of a rectangle are 3x minus 4 and x minus 1. What is the area of the rectangle? If you remember, the key word here is area. Area of a rectangle is length times width. So the area is 3x minus 4 times x minus 1. Now, how do I multiply this? Remember, you take the first term and you multiply by each term in the second parenthesis. So 3x times x is 3x squared. Then we're going to do 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Then we're going to do negative 4 times x and negative 4 times negative 1. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Now we're looking at this, can we combine anybody? We can combine 3x and negative 4x. So that means the first term, I'm just going to copy it. The second and the third term, I'm going to combine it. It gives me negative 7x. And I'm just going to copy the last term, which is positive 4. So that's the best that I can do. So that will be my final answer. That will be the area of the rectangle. Alright, let's go on to question number 6. Question number 6 says, identify the solutions to the function y equals x squared minus 3x minus 28 when y equals 0. If you remember, the key word here is solutions. You need to remember solutions. I'm going to write here on the side, zeros, roots. They all mean the same thing, which is x-intercept. So basically, this would be a problem where I can use the calculator. Okay, so basically, I'm going to go to my calculator, press the Y button, go ahead and clear the functions that I have already there. And I'm going to enter this function that I have, which is x squared minus 3x minus 28. And I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to go to the graph because I want to see the x-intercept. And as you can see here, I can see very clearly what the x-intercepts are. I have one right here, which would be, so let me write here, solutions, which is the same thing as x-intercept. When the x-intercept is negative 4. And the other one, as you look here in the calculator, will be this point right here, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the other x solution would be 7. So the solutions are negative 4 and 7. Alright, let's try the next problem. Next problem has the keyword roots, which means x-intercept. Remember, solution, zeros, roots, and x-intercept all mean the same thing. So basically, I'm going to go to my Y button. I'm going to clear my function that I wrote there, and I'm going to enter the new function. Okay, and then I'm going to press graph. And on my graph I can see that the x-intercept here will be -4 and the other one would be 4. So my roots or solutions or x-intercepts for this problem is -4 and 4. Very good. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. Okay, on the next problem there's a little typo. I made a mistake. This graph right here, it belongs to question number 11, and this table here belongs to question number 8. Okay, so basically I apologize for my mistake, but this table goes with this problem. Okay, the problem says the following table shows the relationship between the independent variable x and the dependent variable y, where y is a linear function of x. So basically there's this table and represents the relationship between x and y. And the problem says write the equation of the function in the form y equals mx plus b. And here are the multiple choices. If you notice, all the multiple choices have the y alone. And please remember, if you have a table and you see these equations with the y alone, that means the calculator will help you. What you can do is press the y button, go ahead and clear. Let's go ahead and enter this in the order that appears. So letter A is y1, so it would be 10x plus 3. Enter. Then it would be 5 divided by 15x. Enter. Then it would be -3x minus 10. Enter. And then we're going to have 3x plus 10. Enter. Now that we enter all the equations, we want to move on to the table window, or the window that shows the table. So let's press second table. That shows our table, and we want to enter the values for x. So let's go ahead and enter those values. So it'll be 5, 10, 15, 25, and 30. I'm sorry, 25. Whoops, made a mistake here. Just a moment. 25 and 30. Here we go. And as we look at the column of y1, that does not match the column on our paper, the column y on our paper. So that means we know that it's not going to be letter A. We also notice that column 2, which represents B, does not match. So that means that's not our answer. If I want to see column 3 and column 4, press the right arrow. And if you notice, y3 does not match, but y4 is a perfect match. So that means y4, or the fourth multiple choice, is the correct answer. Okay, very well. Now let's go to question number 9. Alright, question number 9 says, below is a graph for the function y equals 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. Find the x-intercept of the function. Keyword is x-intercept. If you notice, the problem gives us the graph, so we don't have to worry about putting this in the calculator. And we can notice that we can see the two x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts here would be -3 and +2. Okay. Alright, very well. I also wanted to point it out that they might ask you for the x-intercept in this format, or also you can write as an order pair. So basically -3, 0 and 2, 0. So please beware that if they ask for the x-intercept, you can say -3, 2, or you can also say -3, 0 and 2, 0. Okay. Next question is the graph of y equals x squared minus 4. So y equals x squared minus 4 is shown below. So this is what I see over here. Okay. And if the graph is translated 10 units up, The keyword here is translated. Translated means that I'm working with this number right here. So that means I'm going to translate up, so that means plus 10. So what equation will best describe the new graph? So let's see. If I add 10 to the -4, -4 plus 10 is positive 6. So my new equation, my transformation, will be y equals x squared plus 6, which, as I look at the multiple choices, this would be my answer. Okay, remember that you have a calculator. The calculator can help you to check your answers by pressing the Y button. And let's go ahead and clear everything we have here by pressing clear. And let's enter these two equations. We started out with x squared minus 4. Whoops, I need to make sure I'm on the Y button. Sorry. X squared minus 4. Enter. And I'm going to do the next equation, which is x squared plus 6. And let's take a look at what the graphs look like. That's my original equation, and that's the second equation that I transform. If you notice, the job or the transformation that is described in this problem is that I start out with this and I translate it up 10 units. Well, using the calculator, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I did the job correctly. So that is a confirmation that this is the correct answer. Okay. All right. So make sure that problem number 10, the answer is letter C. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go on to problem number 11. Now remember, number 11, I made a mistake. This table belongs to number 8 and this graph belongs to number 11. The question says, a model rocket was launched from the ground into the air. The height of the rocket at any time after the takeoff is represented in the graph. What is the vertex of the parabola shown by the rocket path? The key word in the question is vertex. Vertex in a parabola is either the highest point or, depending on the graph, is the lowest point. Looking at this graph, I have a highest point, which is right there. And the problem is, which one is the vertex? Well, is it 0, 0, 8, 0, 4, 155, and 1, 7? Well, using my pencil right there, to go to that point, I'll go 4, and then up 155. So that means this would be 4, 155. So my vertex is letter B. Alright. Alright. Next question is a system of equations. The problem says, what is the solution to the system of equations? Remember, system of equations, you want to cancel one of the letters. So doesn't matter which one. So in this case, let's say I want to cancel the x. If I want to cancel the x, I want to multiply the top one by -3. Because if I multiply by -3, the x becomes -3x. Y times -3 becomes -3y. 4 times -3 becomes -12. And on the bottom is, I just copy. Same thing as I have. But what happened is, now that before I could not cancel the x, but notice right now, what happens? I can then cancel the x's. So with that, I'm going to get -5y equals -10. Now I'm going to divide both sides by -5. And that means y equals +2. Now, remember, the answer for a system of equation is an ordered pair. So that means you have an x value and a y value. We found part of the answer. We found the y value. We still need to find the x value. How do I do that? Let's pick the first equation. We always try to pick the simplest equation. The simplest one is the first one. I'm going to take this y and plug it in right here. So this would be x plus 2 equals 4. This would be x equals 4 minus 2. x equals positive 2. So now I found the x value, which is positive 2. Sorry there, you cannot see. So basically I plug it in the y value, and then I solve for x, and my answer is 2. So I put it right there. 2 is my answer. Okay, very well.